Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today. Cryptid Tours coming back to you, and I do have to apologize for my essentially my absence. I have been wanting to post content. I just have not really had the opportunity with everything that's been going on, and even before this, it just hasn't presented itself in a good way. So, anyway, I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed while I guess you checked out the content and maybe you liked it. And again, I do definitely plan on making more. So let's see how it goes. I just wanted to talk about this. This was something that came across actually yesterday, or either yesterday or a couple days ago. And I've seen this picture before, but I never really looked into it too deeply. Okay. Now, as again, I came across it on Reddit. I'd like to definitely thank Dogman Central for the content, for the picture and everything. Now, a lot of people have said this picture has shown up several times with the same kind of wording. Your guess is as good as anyone's. This picture was on a game trail camera that was found to have been totally destroyed. It was located on private property in Cleburne County, Alabama. What is it? The property owner has lost 5 pet goats. Okay, so all that, I mean, it could be true, maybe not. I'm not going to focus on what was said here. I'm going to focus on the actual picture. A lot of interesting comments here. I actually did comment in the forum here. And if you go in, well, anyway, I'll likely get into that maybe. But like I said, main thing, I just wanted to focus on the picture here. Now, what I find interesting about this particular picture is when you look at, let me see here, I'm going to have to move it down a little bit. I'll have to move this around a little. All right. So we'll kind of talk about the front and then we'll go to the back. Now, this is my take on this particular picture. If what was written is true, this animal destroyed the trail cam. Okay. Now, that's all subjective, may or may not be. I'm just going to talk about this in general terms, not as if it is real, not as if it is a hoax. Okay? There are many different possibilities here. I don't want to pigeonhole, or pigeonhole myself, or in any direction. Okay? It could be fake, it could be real. I'm just going to go over the things that I see here. So first off, if it is fake, the person who made it is extremely good at his craft, I have to say. Now, the picture is pretty low resolution, which would make sense if it's coming from a trail cam. They don't have the best resolution, and to my knowledge, this picture is, would be old. I remember seeing it a few years ago, so the quality, I would not expect it to be great. Okay, so getting into the actual animal's legs. As you can see, there's very sparse hair here. I guess it could be mange. Now, I've seen mange before. This, I don't know if it necessarily looks like mange to me. But again, it could be, I'm sure there are many different ways for animals to have mange. It just really looks, I don't know, it looks very clean, I guess the best word I can use to describe it. But let's go ahead and get into the similarities between these two paws. All right, so number one, they are both definitely hairless, or at least pretty much hairless, right? We see the pigmentation on this animal is kind of, it looks like it doesn't have much, if any at all. This could be some type of albino animal. Normally, I've noticed in many animals, the claws will the color of the claws will represent the color of the skin that is that is covering the toe or finger or whatever you want to call it, or the digit that it is coming from. So if this, say for example, if this animal did have fur, and the fur on this toe or finger or whatever, this digit was black, right? Well, the claw actually, what I've seen, would be pretty much black. As just I noticed that in we have cats. I noticed that in a lot of different animals. It seems as though whatever color is represented there, typically the claw will be a darker. If it's a lighter color, or white or something like that, the claw will be lighter. Same thing with the skin. The skin, if the fur is dark, the skin will look a little bit darker than the skin that is under a white fur. Okay, so enough about that. As I'm looking at the actual paws here, something I noticed here, the claws on this paw are quite a bit longer than, well, at least the two in the middle are quite a bit longer than the ones in the back here. Okay, now some people were saying they thought these were two back feet. I do not think that is the case. Okay, main reason why is because if you look at this foot or this paw right here, you can see that the knuckles on these two center digits extend quite far from the knuckle on the ones on the sides here. Okay, so this particular knuckle is set pretty far back, and so is this one. You can tell by the angle here. It just does not extend out quite that far. So, and again, what I'm saying is the knuckles here do not line up with the knuckles on the back, on these two side digits here. But if you look here, okay, and even to that, you can just see it looks very different. Now, some people were saying that maybe they are the same. It's just that there's weight on this one. I just don't think so. You can see here too that there's quite a lot of webbing on the toes here, or the digits here. And this particular digit here, it is the where the claw comes out, it pretty much lines up with the knuckle here. Okay, now it kind of looks like that here, but I think this knuckle comes out quite a bit more than, further than this does right here, whereas this is more even here. Okay, so just imagine these two digits kind of retracted back. The claw bed here, I guess you could say, is pretty much even with this knuckle, whereas this one is set back a bit. I mean, what I'm thinking is that this is the back claw, and as I was looking at some dogs' feet here, or their paws, you can see kind of very similar looking paws here. I mean, as far as in the relation from the back to the front. So you can see the webbing here, how the claw here is even with the knuckles, right? These side claws are even with that larger knuckle on the two centers, whereas in the back it's almost like that, but those knuckles are on the back feet they stick out further than where the bed of this knuckle is right here. So it's just recessed just slightly, as opposed to here. It's where the bed here lines up more so with the knuckle. Here the bed is set back just a little bit more behind that knuckle. However, the front and the back paws, I mean, they are very, very similar in most dogs from what I have seen. Very, very similar. That's pretty nasty. So going back to this, what another thing that I noticed is that this fore, or I think this is the forelimb of this animal. This is so this would be the front right. This would be the rear left. Okay, so I think this is the rear paw, front paw, right paw, front, uh, left paw, rear. Okay, the front, or rather the rear uh, right paw, the back leg or the back paw, is hidden behind this particular paw. I guess a little bit harder to say than anything. Um, so, so anyway, now one thing too that I noticed, and this actually goes, I mean, like I said, the quality of the picture isn't great. You can see lines here. You can see a line here. However, it doesn't look. I mean, from what I can tell, it doesn't look like it was photoshopped. Because if you look like right here, even though this seems a little bit off, um, right here, and it goes down into the dirt, it looks like it matches up. If you go on across here, pretty much looks like it matches up. I mean, then again, the actual and even down here, you see these lines. It's just the quality of the picture is not very good. Uh, I mean, that's it, and you can see it just looks like there are some inconsistencies. Like I said, I believe it's just the quality of the picture. I don't believe there's any Photoshop going on here. So, moving on, um, this foreleg seems to be very much thicker right here, where it kind of joins up uh, to the to the foot, right? So, but back here, as you can see, it looks like it's quite a bit thinner, right? So you can see the shadow as it goes up past the dew claw, and that's again, that's the reason I think this is the uh, left rear, is because this dew claw is on the inner portion, which would mean that this is the left rear side at the very least. I doubt very seriously this is a front paw because, like I said, I mean they don't look alike at all when you look at I guess what you could call the ankle. Okay, what I believe is that this animal actually has its front right paw on the ground. The left rear paw is pulled up near the the right front, kind of like if you were kind of down in a start stance if you were playing football. It's just that that foot is pulled up a bit, okay, pulled up close to that front paw. And why? I mean, you can do it. It's not like the animal wouldn't necessarily be able to do it. I can even do it. But what I think is that the left front paw is actually possibly reaching up, or it has the trail cam in its hand, or it's doing something with the trail cam, possibly. I mean, that's just, or it might just be over in in an area where we can't see it. Same with the left rear. The left rear could be pulled up as well, or it could be set back a bit. But all in all, it seems to me that the animal possibly has its body a little bit scrunched up, kind of contorted, but kind of scrunched up in kind of a ball. And what this, imagining that actually reminds me of what cats do, because you know how cats are. They kind of fold themselves back on their bodies, and they can do all types of things. And it actually reminded me of an episode of Vic's show on Dogman Encounters. I cannot remember the episode, but it's where this English guy, or he's I guess British guy, hold on, he's from Europe. He was saying that him and his girlfriend at the time, and this was a while ago, probably back in the 90s or 80s. Him and his girlfriend were sitting in his kind of souped up Beetle. Okay, so he was into fixing, they were into the whole car scene. He had a car that would fit in that time. It was a Beetle. And they were just sitting in this parking lot waiting for their friends when he noticed that there was a Dogman behind, at the back of the car. He said it was white, and it didn't necessarily notice him, but it was kind of sniffing around the door handle. I guess he said something about having some type of vanilla flavoring or aroma in the car that he thought the Dogman was interested in. But he said then he saw it kind of fold itself back, kind of fold its body in half, kind of back on itself to look in a different direction. Now, cats do that all the time. They're, very limber. They can do those types of things. And something that I always considered could be possible was that if, and this is just, again, everything I'm saying is just opinion, just theory, guys. I'm not saying this is absolutely the case. It's just I'm exploring some possibilities. But I always considered that in the creation of these creatures, which I believe they were, created in some way, by whom would be a whole different topic. We can get into that. If you look at my other videos, you can get an understanding of what I believe. But all in all, I do feel as though the DNA or some genetics from large cats may have been used in the creation of these creatures. Okay, I always kind of thought they were part wolf, part we'll say gorilla, part large cat, and part man. Okay, now there's also, I believe, there's another component that was added, and that would have been more Nephilimic blood or giant's blood. And the reason I say that is because of the extraordinary sizes that these animals can get to. I mean, I think even mixing all those others together would not produce an animal that would reach 10, 12 feet or more. I just can't see that happening. If that blood isn't there, if that dynamic isn't there in the DNA, I don't see how that could actually create a large animal like that. But either way, and that is if this is all true. I've never seen a Dogman myself that I know of. I've had my own experiences that were strange, but nothing where I can say I absolutely saw one of these animals. Now, I've also spoken about what I plan on doing, and again, that is going out and creating a safe environment to actually view, or just to see if these animals will come around, and just to see if we or rather just for us to see if they do exist. And I do plan on bringing people with me who are interested in living on the wild side. No pun intended. But anyway, that's what I think about this, guys. On this front paw, you don't see the dew claw, but man, this just looks so real. I don't know of another animal in the woods that's canine-like, and these are definitely, I mean, that back foot is definitely canine, without a doubt. This front one, it could be other things, maybe a bear or something like that. But this back one, I mean, that is a telltale sign of a canine or a canid type paw. Bears and canines don't hang around together, much less, you're going to get a bear and a canine that are hairless and the same color. It's just not going to happen. So this is definitely one animal, if it is an animal. And like I said, I believe that's the rear left, and I believe this is the front right. Another thing I wanted to mention about that, there's another episode, Dogman Encounters, where this guy said his uncles killed a dogman, and what he saw was that the front, only the front paws or the front claws were actually retractable. That's the reason why I thought, or considered that part of the DNA that's in these animals could be feline. So just speculation, just theory on my part. I have no professional experience or training. It's just my own theories, my own thoughts on it. I've been around a little while. I'm not, completely without any uh, thoughts and, ideas or whatnot. But all in all, guys, that's what I think. Um, again, it just, there's still not much context when it comes to this. There's still a lot of questions when it comes to this particular picture. I mean, I was just looking here. Even this particular like rock here, it's sharp cut off here and looks like it continued right here. But again, you know, when you look over here, right here, it looks right. Um, and could there be some type of Photoshop? It's very possible, but I just don't see how that would have um, allowed. If someone was shifting things, I don't see how it would have allowed for all of this to stay in place. I mean, this is obviously, uh, you know, I mean, I don't see any manipulation on the paw itself. So again, it could just be what the camera was doing due to the lighting and all that stuff. Who knows? But all in all, guys, that's what I think. If you have any questions or if you have any comments on it, hey, please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you do so. I will be continuing and coming back with some, what I consider interesting information. So guys, please make sure you take care of yourselves in regards to this whole virus thing. I know it's been quite a scary time, but we just have to keep our heads about us. Always remember to think critically about everything. Don't just take the word of people. Look into it. Make sure you educate yourselves on anything that happens, so you cannot be led astray. All right, guys. Thanks a lot again. Take care of yourselves, and God bless.